Hello everybody, it's Cape Rugby TV time, Wednesday night, and we talk about what's happening with the Western Province Club Rugby. As we've said, it never stops. It is an endless amount of club rugby. This weekend, of course, was the score, Western Province Club Rugby 7s. Wow, what a pleasure at CPUT. We'll talk more about that in a second. We'll of course take a look at some of the matches that led up to the finals, which were in the cup, the bowl, the shield, and of course in the plate section. But let me introduce you to my panel this evening. Jerome Parvater. Hello, Jerome. Welcome back.
Hello, JP. Yeah, JP, I also just want to say well done to all the guys who played in the sevens. And I think Saturday was a fantastic day. Every single team there played to their best.
Morgan Newman had as I said just in the break, had a dog in the fight. Morgan Newman was coaching we're not going to give you the results right away. We're not going to give it, but yeah, Morgs, welcome.
Yeah, it's good to be here, James. Thanks for having me. Yeah, awesome weekend of sevens. Yeah, it was great to be part of it. Irrespective of the results, I mean, we didn't really go there. We went there as a bunch of calling no names and just went to have fun. And what a cool 4 weeks that it was. I think
yeah,
we had lots of fun. It's a pity it's come to the end, but nonetheless, I suppose all good things come to an end.
Two things you've said there. One is pity has come to an end. That is what I heard all the weekend. More, give us more. And then the other thing that you said is lots of fun. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Sevens rugby is all about fun.
Yeah, I mean, look, the big motto for my side was, do the results really matter? Yeah, it's great that we did really well in the tournament. And, you know, the nice thing for me was, my big motto all along, even when we got our players together, was players that want to be there, you're more than welcome to join. Those that don't want to be there, I wasn't begging anyone to come. That's why, I think it was week 3, or the week before the finals, I almost struggled to field the team. I put my boots on, I got involved, I'm registered, so I played a little bit. But that's what it's all about, you know. Some guys had valid excuses and all that.
Wasn't that also your approach when you were managing the Cape Rugby TV 7 side? We had a bunch of guys that never played together. They were all-star guys. Yeah. Okay, great. And make no mistake, you had some of the top players in the province there. But there were no expectations of going to win it. You just were fielding a team to have a jaw.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's how we created a platform for guys to go out there, express themselves, go make a name for themselves. My motto was, go make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Get the ball in your hands, make magic, make it happen, and hopefully someone sees you, you know what I mean? And from my side alone, there were some really good rugby players that put their hands up. And guys, under 20 players that before the club had never really taken notice of, have now gone and made a name for themselves come pre-season towards 2019.
Jerome, just looking at the rugby side of it, we talk about having fun and it being a jawl. And when one says that, one always thinks about the jawl must be about having beers and having fancy dress and all that. But you can have quite a jawl on the field itself, parlaying the ball, and that's that can be your player's jaw, your rugby jaw.
Yeah, JP, I just hope like a lot of the coaches that were there, because you could see the skill level of some players, but don't tell the guys that they can only do that. They've seen now the amount of skill that there is. So don't limit the guys on once it comes to 15. You mustn't try and do a fancy pass. Do it if you want.
Do it, but
enjoy it.
You can have a bit of fun.
Yeah,
it's like
fun.
playing rugby, playing rugby in the evening when you're having a little bit of fun with mates from the office.
We always say
it's
for club rugby. It's about fun, and I mean, if you have fun, you can actually win also.
Let's get straight into it then. Coming up tonight, we'll take a look at the match between Tygerberg and False Bay in the Cup semi-final. Hamilton and St. George's also in the Cup semi-final. Hamlets and NTK, Belleville and SK Warmers, Paarl and Brackenfell, False Bay St. George's, as well as Tygerberg and Hamilton's. That was, of course, the playoffs in the Cup final. A number of interviews during the course of the show, including the overall top point scorer, Curtly Davis, as well as the various captains from the teams. Let's quickly take a look at the overall results then from the weekend. Tygerberg with a 28-10 win over Elsie Srafir. Paarl 29-12 over Young Peoples. Brackenfell 24-21 over Scottsdene. St. George's with a win over All Saints. Hamilton's, it went down to Belleville. I believe that was the only loss there. Hamlets 14-17 lost to Villagers. False Bay beating NTK, and Belha 26 points to 12 over SK Warmers. All right, folks, let's take a look at the first match then. Tygerberg up against False Bay. This was in the Cup semi-final. Right, there we go, folks. Welcome back. Tygerberg then with a 15-12 win over False Bay in the Cup semi-final. Other results for Tygerberg was a win over Elsie Sofia, 28 points to 10, and Tygerberg 26-19 over Paarl in the Cup quarterfinals. Jerome, do you think that there's a difference in the playing between on the last day than over the last 3 weeks before the semi-finals and the finals?
Yeah, you could see Saturday from the start. The teams like really mean business, and every point was important on Saturday to make the playoffs. Even teams who missed kicks did not make it, and the guys who were accurate with the kicking, they were the guys who went through. So every point counted on Saturday. Yeah.
Morgan, how are you guys feeling from a player's perspective? Did you change gears, or did you just stick to your same kind of vibe?
No, I'd like to think we stuck to what's worked for us the whole tournament. You know, we didn't change much of our approach. We wanted to, again, it sounds cliche, but we just wanted to have fun. I mean, I just said to the guys, go out there, throw the ball around. We played against, I mean, we had a seriously tough run into the final if you consider teams we played against. And my guys just pulled out all the stops and really played some good sevens rugby, you know, up until the final, which I think they lost their legs, but I think we were beaten by a better side anyway. But nonetheless, my guys were just having so much fun, and you know, that to me was the most important thing.
Do you though, if you're at a higher level, and I mean you've played at a higher level, does one start thinking about, once you've played your first 2 or 3 rounds, that your last game, your strategy maybe needs to change? Or because I think also with like the HSB sevens, they play a 10-minute game in the last.
Yeah, well, you know, my thing, being the coach this time, the shoe was bit on the other foot, and I had to continuously tell myself, listen, let the Oaks have fun, let them keep going, let them throw the 50-50s. You know, because it's so easy to go into a shell and say, guys, no more 50-50s, let's do this, let's do that. And I thought to myself, you know what, I'm actually not going to do it. I'm just going to let these guys go. What's worked for us has clearly worked.
Basically, he's saying that he had to hold him back from shouting at the players.
No, I was just laughing. Yesterday a guy said, so he's a bit like Eddie Jones. Yeah. A guy said yesterday, he said, yeah, you can't believe Eddie Jones. If you watch him on TV, he just sit and look with a straight face. There's no hands in the air, and there's no emotion. So Morgan is a bit like Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones, not a Heineken man.
Emotionless.
There's no Heineken.
Although let me tell you what, the refs on the side of the field wouldn't say that.
All right, folks. So Tygerberg then going through. They will take a look at the rest of the Tygerberg matches in a sec. But False Bay, other results for False Bay. This is after they went down to Tygerberg. False Bay beat NTK 19-7, and of course Belhar 19-0. That was also in the Cup quarterfinals. We're going to take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll take a look at the match between Hamilton's and St. George's. Remember, you can win yourself a case of Score energy drinks. Score is, of course, the official sponsor to the West Bromwich Club Rugby Sevens. We'll see you after the break. Oh, welcome back, folks. KB Rugby TV every Wednesday night, 9 to 10, and the repeats on Saturday between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Hamiltons were up against St. George's at the Score West Bromwich Club Rugby Sevens. This was the run-up to the finals, and this, of course, the playoffs in the Cup semi-finals, where my co-presenter today, Morgan Newman, was the coach, and we'll dig into that a little bit after taking a look at the highlights first. But St. George's were, of course, known as one of the danger teams coming through the ranks, as, of course, also as last year's champions. They were the holding champions. So let's take a look now. Hamilton's up against St. George's. right, there we go. Hamilton St George's 19-7. A couple of superstars there. Morgan, before we go to you, and because we know that you're going to gloat about your victory there, but Jerome, there's a couple of big names there. Snaz
there, yeah.
Sinitemba Mapakwa, Earl Rose.
Earl Rose played there, yeah. So there's a couple of quality players, but we've got a coach here. But I just think that the approach was right against St George's. I think the coach would say like a go more direct approach and keep the ball away from them. That's what I've seen. I don't know.
You knew, Morgan, did you know you were up against St George's? You knew that they were coming into the tournament probably as one of the favourites. Although I must say Belhar also came. Belhar and Belleville, both teams came into the tournament, or at least into the final day as danger teams. I mean, you guys must have known St George's are sevens rugby experts. It wasn't going to be the same as playing 15-man's rugby where things didn't necessarily go well for St George's in Super League A. But when it comes to sevens, they can dominate. Did you know that it was going to be a danger game? Yeah, for sure. I mean, their reputation speaks for themselves, firstly, and then I'd watched them throughout the tournament. They're a nice team to watch. They play great sevens, actually, and my approach was pretty much Jerome's probably spot on there. It was important for me to keep the ball away from them, starve them of possession. I think they're seriously talented players in that St George side. They're a bunch of steppers. They're in sync. They know. They're all on the same page. And I knew my motto was if we can keep the ball for more than 50%, if we can hold them to the ball for more than 50% of what they have it for. So how do you do that? How do you keep the ball for more than 50%? I mean, isn't that every coach's dream?
No, well, look, I mean, it's you're just lucky if it happens, really. But it was a more direct approach. So I was very happy with one-off runners. I was very happy to get the ball into my nice big ball carriers and let them really create as much havoc as possible. And if they had to go to ground, then I just wanted to make sure we had a cleaner there and play very, call it, I suppose, a less flashy brand of sevens.
Did you also, looking at Snaz Sinitemba there, he always seems to take 3-4 guys with him. Was that part of your game plan as well?
Yeah, Snaz out wide I played against Snaz, so I think he still played for Kailsrop at the time, and he's not an easy guy to tackle. You got to really give it your all. So I knew that if I can get the ball into the wide channel, there's not a lot of wingers in the Western Cape that are sort of as physical, as strong, as big, as quick as he is. And I used that as one of my strengths. So I really wanted to get the ball in his hands as quickly as possible. And then I said, these guys had license to make as much havoc and run as crazy as he wanted to. And I think he did really well this weekend, over the past weekend. I think there's a bright future for him.
Well, I think you coached him as well in the Cape Rugby Sevens.
That's right, yeah.
Jerome, we're going to take a look here at our next match now, which was, of course, the match between Hamlets and NTK. But St George's, I mean, they did themselves proud here. Really showed some classy, lekker rugby.
Yeah, they did the whole tournament, and a lot of that guys, JP. I mean, it hasn't stopped for them now. Now they're gonna start with the beach stats.
Yeah.
So it's their type of game. They love playing, and they never stop.
Yeah, I think that's the secret. If ball in hand, that's what the All Blacks do.
Yeah.
They grow up with the ball in their hand, and they play before school, and they throw the ball around all the time. It's the way that you build your skills. But St George's then, of course, beating All Saints 21 points at 10. That wasn't their very first game on Saturday, and then St George's went on to beat Brackenfell 14 points at 12 in the Cup quarterfinals. When we come back from the break, we'll be taking a look at the match between NTK and Hamlets. But before we do that, Springbok Atlas is, of course, on board with Cape Rugby TV. If you want to book your bus transport for either your league season or your team building events, or to go to your sevens or touch rugby tournaments, then Springbok Atlas has got a deal for you. Contact Rashad Luki on 021 506 2572 506 2572. They've got all the different transport needs or transport facilities that you might need. They're all over South Africa and got great prices. But yeah, get hold of Rashad Luki on 021 506 2572. We'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll take a look at the match between NTK and Hamlets in the bowl final. Right, welcome back everybody. As you know, we were out at the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens tournament. It was happening at CPUT over the weekend. It is the end of year Sevens tournament Western Province Rugby puts on annually with Score as the sponsors. This year there were more than 44 teams with more than 900 players playing across 3 weeks, and then of course going into the finals in the finals week, which happened in week 4. 16 teams then going through to play in the Cup, the Plate, the Bowl, and of course in the Shield. One of the matches we took a look at there was Hamlets, who we also know is a danger team. They played against NTK in the Bowl final. Let's see Hamlets now against NTK.
Wel, het was tough geweest. Het was schools wat ons kant toe gaan het maar dis rugby en ons het uitgekom om te geniet en ons het die dag geniet. Ja, hij was een beetje technical, dat wilde die ouens wat die by die oefeninge kon uitgekom het hier, dan kom ons maar nou net Saterdag en wat ons bereik het in die tyd is actually amazing vir ons eerste jaar vir 'n span wat die saam kon geoefen het op 'n konstante basis. So ek is happy. Ja, soos ek ons gesê, ons het by die veld gekom vandag toe sê ons boys maar ons is in die kap, so ons gaan met niks huis toe nie. Moet dit nou net 'n medalje wees, maar ons het ons goed van ons werk gekwyt en ons is happy. Ons kan net verbeter op dit. Ja, definitief soos ons het nou 'n paar 7 tournaments wat nou nog afkom. Die 1 Desember, so ons vat hom reg deur tot binne Januarie en dan sal ons kyk hoe dinge af en af gaan.
Right, there we go, folks. Malin Besaidenout is, of course, the captain of NTK. And Hamlets, NTK there. Hamlets winning 26 points to 5. That was in the bowl final. Hamlets had earlier beaten Villagers 14, or at least lost to Villagers 17-14. They lost to Belleville 27-0. And then, of course, in the plate semi-final, Hamlets beat All Saints. NTK, on the other hand, went down to False Bay in the opening match. They went down to SK Warmers in the Shield quarterfinals and, of course, beat Young Peoples in the plate semi-final 28-14. Let's take a look now at the match between SK Warmers and Belleville. Right, welcome back, everybody. Jerome Parvat is going to love this conversation. Jerome, SK Warmers, Belleville. Belleville, of course, you're close to the heart. Of course, they're at the Parvat Stadium. Morgan, you haven't got a stadium named after you yet, eh?
Not yet, JP,
Not
but
yet.
emphasis on yet.
One day the Hamilton Stadium will be
Will
named
be
after.
the Newman.
He's doing everything there in any case.
Yeah.
Slow down,
He's doing
Jerome.
everything in any case. Yeah, it is pretty much called. All right, folks, let's take a look
like,
at Jerome. But Belleville, of course, they were 2016 champions. I've seen them pull teams to pieces on their running rugby, beating SK Warmers there. Look, SK Warmers first time, but they had some great gears and all that. But let's just focus on the Belleville side here. Belleville, a dangerous 7 side.
Yeah, they have a lot of young guys, JP. A lot of the guys who played second team. There's a few guys, 2 or 3 guys who played first team, but most of the guys were playing second team, youngsters. And there's a bright future for them, and they somehow always get these guys through the system, which is good. So they already have a plan for next year with these guys, which is good. And SK also, JP, as Paul was saying. That
Paul
Delport was saying, yeah, that they just there to keep fit and to enjoy themselves, and they've reached quite far for the attitude that they had.
Yeah, I mean, Morse, you've worked with Paul Delport. They had Zaire Islands there. These are all guys that were originally Siraj Leggett. They had some great experience there at SK. First time into the club rugby sevens. Not doing too badly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who I was talking to. I was walking around looking at the pedigree of coaches.
Yeah.
That were just around there, guys that had played at the highest level. I think you mentioned it in the aftermatch chat that you had. But I mean, a lot of these teams were in really good hands. You know, in terms of guys who have knowledge of the game, guys who have knowledge of sevens, and I think it filtered through nicely. You know, I think there was for me, what was nice about the whole 4 weeks was the relaxed atmosphere around it. You know. Again, I emphasize the results. I suppose we all wanted to win, yes, 100%. But it was done in the right spirit. You know, the way that the game was played, I think it was done in the right spirit. There were 1 or 2, you know, oaks who probably say the wrong things after games if they've lost and so forth. And I saw 1 or 2 guys not manage things as well as they should have. But for the most part, those individuals shouldn't tarnish the whole reputation of this tournament, which has really been, for me, a really fun environment.
Well, it has to be. I mean, it has to be. If you just look here at if you do the maths, there were only 4 winners on the day: the bowl, the shield, the cup, and the plate. 4 winners. The other 40 teams would look at this and say, "Oh well, we didn't win, but we had a jaw." You can't put yourself in a space that 7 rugby creates for 40 disappointments. We want 40 teams back next year, not only the guys who won the game and said, we're going to be. And that's the beauty here, I think, is that 44 teams next year will go, we want to be back. We had a good time. We saw what it's about. And what I especially like about it, and you've mentioned this before, is that you get, there was Hamilton's, granted you were up against Tygerberg, I think, in the finals. And we're going to take a look at that match a little bit later. So you guys have met each other because you played against each other in Super League A, and you've met each other, you know where the fields are. But in the build-up, in the lead-up to the day, you would have played against the likes of an All Saints or a Hamlets or a Belleville, teams that are outside of your leagues, outside of the Super League A league. And it would have been an opportunity to shake hands, get together, guys that you would never have met. Belleville then, of course, went down to Hamlets as their opening match. They went on to beat Hamlets 27-0 in the Shield quarterfinals. Belleville, of course, beat Scottsdene as well, 26-12 in the Shield semifinals. Then SK Warmers, on the other hand, went down to Belha in their opening match. SK Warmers went on to beat NTK in the quarterfinals, and then LC Srafir with a win for LC Srafir in the Shield semifinal, 21-14. Let's take now a look at in fact, before we take a look at our next match, which is going to be Paarl up against Brackenfell. Remember, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, you see it behind me, right? How perfect timing. MChem 24-hour pharmacy, they're on the corner of Durban and the Durban Road and the N1. They've got all the pharmaceutical needs for you. They've got a coffee shop upstairs, free parking. I can roll through the services and products that MChem has got for you. But really what I love about going to MChem is actually the service. When you walk in, somebody comes to greet you straight away. There's lots of space. It's easy to get to the counters. it really is a fantastic pharmacy, and I love the fact that the parking is free and that there's always lots of parking. So MCAM 24-hour pharmacy available 24 hours a day. Get down there on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. We'll take a break and we'll take a look at the match between Paul and Brackenfell. Right, welcome back everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. The score, Western Province Club Rugby Sevens, is what we're looking at the moment. So we've got a lot of matches to cover and a lot of interviews. Paul up against Brackenfell. Let's take a look at what happened there.
Dit is mijn derde jaar in de school sevens. En ik denk ik geniet meer met rugby als het bij sevens komt. Maar zelfs die jaren bij Perel, wat is jaren werk ingezet, was het wel definitief een goede toernooi. En het is goed, ons het is goed van de start gegooid. Ons eerste jaar het is net deelgeneem, maar hierdie jaar heb ik van mijn boys gezegd, ons moet compete. En wel, dat is niet wat is wel geheet, maar als plate winners in 2018, wel. En dan zelfs die preparation zelfs nou voor die 15 man volgende jaar voor Super League A gaan een groot uitdaging wees. Wel, ik heb gedacht die rugby is voorbij. Het is dit een week af wat begint off-season training, wat is wel wit Super League A. Conditioning moet op standaard wees. Goeie en groot spannen. Wat is wel wit vooral voor die span wat opkomt. Die eerste week is maar groot namen wat zelfs die komt. En ons eerste doelwit voor volgende jaar is om wel in die liga te blijven. Right, dat was een goede input van hulle allemaal en ons het gefeed van hulle experience. Zelfs van Dino en Kono met een groot achtergrond van sevens, maar wel voor coach Kono wat al 4 weken samen met ons gewerkt heeft, baie by hom geleerd en hij is ook zelfs bereid om te leren van die andere mannen. Zoals een mens bereid is om te leren, zal je paai altijd op wees en dan wil ik ook alle sterke toewens voor Kono Hendricks. Hij is nou wel een global rugby. Maar hij heeft wel een contract daaronder gekregen, wil hem alle sterke toewens. In die harde week begint nou eens en ik weet hij zal van die uitdaging zal hij goed van zijn taak kwijt.
A little bit windy there, but Paul walking away with a 25-12 win over Brackenfell, and Captain Conroy Eamon talking to us. Jerome, he's had a great 2018 season.
Yeah, he had a super. He was one of the main players for Paul this year. He reminded me of Peter Steff. He never stopped, JP. So quite a good guy and a leader on his own right. And I think the players feed off him, the way he plays. and also in the sevens, he didn't stop. He's quite good.
Morgs, you picked it up there. He was talking about their coach, Cornel Hendricks, who's of course now been, everyone's talking about it. He's got a contract with the Bulls, and he'll probably be there already with the preseason.
Yeah.
But he was talking there about the Cornell's ability to tap into the players' knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I know Cornell fairly well, I guess, and yeah, I mean, he's just what a nice, humble, down to earth guy who's prepared to learn from the players. You know, like he says, Cornell's definitely one of those guys doesn't believe he's too big for the game. He comes in every week, puts in the work, and I think his players really fed off him. I must be honest, this Paul side for me was up there with the best. I must be honest. I mean, they had Freddie Miller, they had Conway, they had a few really big names there. Daniel Dearmas played for them early on in the rounds. And this was one of the teams that I earmarked to go really, really far. So, yeah, played final. I mean, they've done really nicely, and this team's going to go from strength to strength. I think they're also coming up into Super League. They've moved.
Yeah, they've been promoted. Super League A. They're going to be a very strong team in Super League. And I think they got a lot of resources there, Jerome. Do you agree?
Yeah, and Paul, and with all the coaches, and Masimla's also busy with them.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're going to have a good side next year.
Folks, Score is of course the sponsor to the West Morons Club Rugby Sevens tournament. What a fantastic tournament it's been so far. More than 900 players got given unique jerseys. Each team, I mean, have you ever heard of that? Where every player gets their own set of jerseys. So Score, the official sponsor to the Score West Morons Club Rugby Sevens. Now, if you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, then all you need to do is SMS the word SCORE to 33090. 33090. Terms and conditions, of course, apply. Congratulations to last week's winner, Leanne May. Leanne, somebody from Cape Rugby TV will be in touch with you shortly, and you will get yourself a case of Score energy drinks. We're going to take an ad break, and when we come back from the break, we'll take a look at what happened in the third and fourth place playoffs between False Bay and St. George's. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com /Cape Rugby TV, or on Twitter @Cape Rugby TV, or on Instagram @Cape Rugby TV. Find us pretty much anywhere. Remember, always use the hashtag WP Club Rugby so that we can find you and share. I mean, if you tag @Cape Rugby TV in any of your posts, then it's easy for us to find you and your posts and share them on the platform, so that we have to really boost your numbers. We were out at the Score West Morons Club Rugby Sevens tournament. False Bay were up against St. George's in the third and fourth place playoffs. False Bay then with a 28-12 win over St. George's. Jerome, False Bay had a pretty good outing.
Yeah, they did, JP, and also have a lot of youngsters in their side with a few older guys. But I thought that they would go much further than where they were. But like they used their youngsters, so maybe that was the reason for them.
I think also for them, their main squad, I believe, is overseas at the moment. They're on a sort of a team building.
Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
In Zimbabwe.
And so a great opportunity for new guys to come through the ranks.
Yeah, that's what I say. I think the thinking behind this tournament was to see who they can use next year, because they also had fairly old guys, so they need to have a look at some other players. So I think they use this tournament to do
also,
that.
James, the Tygerberg only beat them in extra time. Well, not extra time, but in the dying minutes of the semi-final. Otherwise, I mean, False Bay led that game for a large portion of it. So
if they had let it slip, I think it was the last try that was going to make the difference.
correct, yeah.
So if they let that slip, it was going to could have gone the other way.
Yeah, 100%. And then it's a Tygerberg, and then it's a False Bay Hamilton's final, which I think we probably would have won.
Yeah, that was after the hooter, or just before the hooter. Then they had a quick throw in Tygerberg, and then they had 2 penalties, which were proper penalties.
Yeah, look, but we're still talking about the False Bay St. George's game, 28-12.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, we're still talking about it.
Couldn't have been down to the dying minutes.
No,
after the hooter.
he said like you were saying, so he just say like they could have been in the final.
Yeah, they should have beaten.
Could have been in the final.
Could have definitely have beaten Tygerberg.
Right, folks, it's been a long week of sport. We all have to concentrate here, but it's been an exciting week of sevens rugby. Of course, the finals match was then played between Tygerberg and the Hamiltons. Morgan Newman was the coach of Hamiltons. We're going to take a look at the finals match there,
really?
and then we're going to ask Morgan Newman where it all went wrong.
No comment, James. No comment.
Right folks, die 2018 Skool WP Club Rugby season is nou iets op een end
Saam met my is Ulrich Johannes, hy's die kaptein van die Tiere en hulle is die wenner vandag. Ulrich, wel gedaan.
Dankie Johnny, dankie vir al die boys. Boys was great, ons het selfs opstep en ons het opgestep tot in die final en gevat wat ons wil gekom het.
Ulrich, vir julle is dit die eerste keer, dit is die debuut vir julle. Was dit 'n groot step up van 15?
Ja nee, het was, maar soos ek gesê, Stewart, ek was van sy droom. Hy het gesê, hy het vir ons gesê op die groep, hy het 'n droom gehad, ons wen die cup en sy droom het waargekom. Maar dan Stewart.
Hoe lang vat julle nou af? Wat maak julle nou?
Die eerste is die next tournament, ons seker net 'n week af en dan gaan ons weer begin oefen.
'n week af?
Ja nee,
Dan is daar nog 'n tournament.
absoluut.
Maar die mense sê dan julle speel te veel rugby.
Hoe kan ons te veel rugby
Ja,
speel
nee.
as ons op bloed?
Ons stem saam, nee, meer rugby.
Ja.
Is dit wat die fans sê, meer rugby?
Ja.
Wat sê die spelers?
Wat sê die players? Ek kan nie meer hoor.
Ja,
Hulle
okay.
definitief, hulle is altyd in.
Nou moet julle die officials gaan sê. Right boys, wel gedaan aan Tigerberg. Julle het 'n great game gespeel. Nee, dit was fantasties. Die Tiere se vlag hang hoog.
Absoluut.
All right. Folks, we'll be back after the break. Right, that was of course the Tigerberg captain Ulrich Johannes. They've had a great outing there. Great stuff for Tigerberg, Jerome. I mean, they can be very happy with their season.
No, I mean, we're beaten by a better side, without a doubt. I think that the Tigerberg side probably deserved to win. You know, they played the best 7.
If you were to do something different, Morgan Newman, if you would, because of course you were the coach,
Yeah.
you were the coach on the side. We should have interviewed you post-match. But if you were to do something different, would you change anything?
Yeah, I think I would probably have given my squad more game time throughout the tournament. Throughout the final day at least. You know, they played 3 games every week, and I had to go and play the 4th one. It takes a bit of adapting to, and then also, I think because my games were so tight, I was very reluctant to make substitutions, and because I was reluctant to make substitutions, I think it caught up with us in that final game. I think we ran out of legs. Still, I don't think it's much of an excuse. I think we were beaten by a quality Tigerberg side, and I don't think had my guys had the legs, would they have beaten Tigerberg? I'm not too sure. That remains to be seen. But nonetheless, I think I would have probably shared the workload a bit more and hopefully have given myself a better chance in the final. But well deserved to Tigerberg, and I mean we were just happy to be part of the event.
Jerome, any advice for this young coach that's now made his debut in the world of coaching, which we've all been waiting for a long time? He's now, of course, taken the vice coaching seat at the Hamiltons as well. Any advice for him?
Yeah, it's so true what Morgan is saying, JP, which I picked up over the years. It's not only in 7s, it's in 15s also. People tend to talk about the squad, and you see in international rugby also talk about the squad.
Yeah.
But how many times you see there's a squad of 30 players, but you see the same faces next week? Why are the guys there? Why? They're going to burn out at some stage. They're going to burn out. But everybody's talk about the squad and the squad system, but there's really no squad system. And as a coach, if you can get that right, and that's why you coach.
Yeah.
You must have the confidence in your sort of your second best guy that
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
You can put this guy in with confidence onto the field in not 2 minutes.
No, that's fantastic. I love that idea. I love the idea that your second team is as good as your first team. Folks, before we go, we did have an overall player tournament man of the match. Kirkley Hamilton Davids scored more than 130 points during the season, at least during the Sevens tournament. He also scored, I think, more than 16 tries and 25 odd conversions. Let's quickly catch up with Kirkley Hamilton Davids before we close the show.
Die score 7 was nogals 'n briljante experience, aangezien dit die eerste keer was wat ek score 7 deelneem. En die jaar is dit my eerste keer na 8 jaar dat ek weer in die Weskaap weer rugby speel. Ja, dit is altyd 'n lekker gevoel as jy 'n kap wen, enige kap, en maak nie saak of dit shield of plate of enige, maar het is altyd 'n lekker gevoel as jy weet dat jy as oorwinnaars uitgetree van die veld af. Ja, ek was 'n bietjie bekommerd. Die eerste week het ek 54 punte, toe was ek 4de, toe was ek 'n bietjie bekommerd, toe moet ek mos maar uit derde week, toe moet ek maar ietsie opskryf, toe moet ek dit maar tot ietsie 80 punte vir die hele naweek, toe moet ek dit maar opskryf, en dit het gemaak dat dit 7 is eintlik my als. Dit is my brood en botter. Ek konsentreer baie op 7. Is net 15 man. Ek het 'n keuse nie. Ek moet net 15 man speel omdat 7 so beperk word in Suid-Afrika, moet ek maar 15 speel.
Curtly Hamilton Davids. I'm sure that there's going to be few coaches after that young man. He's of course, I think he's the cousin of Conroy Amon, the captain of Pile as well. He's had a fantastic season, really fantastic. So very well done there to Curtly Hamilton Davids. Sounds like a very a royal name. Jerome, it's been a great 7. So we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, definitely. JP is good, and I don't know. You always say rugby doesn't stop.
Rugby doesn't stop.
Maybe it doesn't stop.
Well, you've got busy bees next week.
Yeah, I've got busy bees next Monday.
Yeah.
Testing them, and then still I've got the end of the month. Makasa's got the end of year function which I have to attend, and so it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop, and if it's not there, then it's negotiations and it's AGMs. And Morgan Newman, you've got your hands full now, my friend. You're now taken this position as assistant coach at Hamilton's, and you'll have to start looking at, together with Nikki Fulyoun, of course, and you're going to start looking at players and getting to know everything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to learning. That's my main thing. You know, I'm just part of the mix to learn and contribute where I can, where I feel I'm capable of contributing. But for now, it's I'm excited for the opportunity, and let's see where it goes, James.
No, we love it. I think it's long overdue, and we wish you the very best of luck. I think Hamilton's lucky to have you.
Thank you very much, James.
All right, then, folks, that's a wrap from us here at Cape Rugby TV. Remember, Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road has got all the paint and supplies that you need there. Just get hold of the guys there. Dulux Maitland, number 30 Coburg Road. They will sort you out easy, save you money, spec your premises. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.